I have been a busy bee, and this all revolves around our unique mob farm project, which is now a bunch of floating scaffolding up in the sky. And at the end of the last episode, we built a collection platform made out of deep slate with glow lichen at the bottom. And obviously, there's a flaw that you've noticed. Sometimes mobs have feather falling, sometimes chicken jockeys spawn and the baby zombies make it down to the bottom. They pick up items, they don't despawn. I'm not entirely sure how to fix this. But either way, the farm has been absolutely pumping out the items. The collection system is doing its thing. And down below I have a temporary setup to collect some of these items into chests. Now before we manage all of these items, I decided to turn my attention to the rest of the island, which has pillagers spawning in it, which reduces the rates of mobs spawning in our farm. And so I did what any good Minecrafter would do, and tore down the entire island. And with all of that done, we turn our attention to collecting the items. I'm using water streams, I'm bringing them down into a single channel, I'm going to send them all the way up to where we AFK, right? And as I started to build this, I thought, no, there might be a more interesting way to do this. And that would be with a nether portal. But lo and behold, there is an issue with nether portal synchronization. Unfortunately, the portal that I built down here at the very bottom area would always synchronize with the portal in the nether that links to the top. So if I want to send items to the nether, it's going to stop us from using this one here. And this basically means the nether portal we would have had at this location needs to be further away. And where else to send it than underground and far off into the distance? So you can see we've got a water stream for items to head down, and they make their way over to this nether portal here. Now that seemed like such a long distance, didn't it? But here in the nether, this portal will now take us to the top of our farm where we want to go. And that one over there, that's where the items come through. So here's where things get interesting, because we're going to have to build a storage system over here in the nether, but it's going to have to deal with a lot of items. And the first thing to do is actually pick up those items from where it comes through this portal. And it comes through on the left hand side to this block here. So there is this unique little bit of engineering we get to do here, where we're going to use 2 hopper minecarts to pick up items from the same block, but also distribute them across to 3 different hoppers. So we're going to start off with that there, put the rail on top of the hopper. Yeah, holding shift on top of scaffolding, never fun, is it? You always bob up and down. And I think I can also put the wall on this side to begin with. So what we want to do is nudge that hopper minecart a little bit over this way, so it's on top of these 2 and still able to pick up from this block here. So I can get in there and nudge it, and then when I put one on again, it's going to get automatically pushed out to the other side. So that one now feeds into these 2 hoppers. And from here we get to do the typical thing of moving the items into a storage system. I'm probably going to run them through some dropper elevators so that the items can then drop down and sort of be on the same level as this portal here. So when you visit it in the future, not only can you go to the AFK platform, to the side you'll have some chests and you'll be able to grab all of the items from our farm. And with that now achieved, I should point out that when items come through a portal, they actually load the chunks, so this area gets to stay loaded and the items can run through all of the hoppers and down into the chests. But it turned out that despite my testing and the items always coming through the portal in the overworld at the same spot, they actually come out on both blocks somehow on this side over here, so I had to modify our hoppers down below, so now you can see that we've got 3 hopper minecarts at the bottom. That covers both of the blocks, and in case you're wondering what all the redstone back here look like, this is it. These are our elevators feeding all of the items into the storage system. And guess what? The storage system is now bigger. And that's because after half a day of AFKing, the chests were full up, and even since then I've done more AFKing and started to fill these chests up. But you might have noticed that some items were missing. Those were the bones which I have been crafting, and this absolutely beats our AFK skeleton farm where we use the looting sword. Look at how many bone blocks I have crafted here. 7 chests worth, and I have been hinting that we're going to need all of this for our base, and I still don't think that it's enough. And if we look into our statistics for the season, yeah, no surprise to see we've crafted 17,000 of these bone blocks. And when it comes to placing them, I've only placed 2,600 so far. And that is because I have indeed been working on the base entrance. I'm just not sure when it's going to be ready to show you. But anyways, the project here has been an absolutely massive success. It looks very cool, it's functional, and after many hours of AFKing, we just have the one problem down here. Look at them all swarming for me. Oh, watch out. The horde is after me. Oh, this looks amazing. What is the better weapon of choice here? The sword to swipe at crowds? Or my smite axe that can take them out? I think one critical hit, although they're wearing armor. Ha! Look at that. Taking them out one at a time. Well, that might not have been the smartest move, because now I've cleared out some of the glow lichen. But I have some bones in my inventory. Easy repairs, easy repairs. So I've gotten a little distracted there. I wanted to mention a couple more things. We will be coming back here in the future to enhance this project and to add more ones as well. Pillagers can spawn over in this area, and yes, we are going to build a farm for them. But I have been doing a lot of redstone tinkering this season, and I think I might continue that as I'm getting a lot of comments from you saying you really enjoy it. So what I would like you to do this time is head down to the comments and put hashtag redstone yes or no to this question. Do you enjoy the redstone tinkering? I would like to tally up some results and get a feel for what my audience wants, because I've really been enjoying this and I love reading the comments and seeing your solutions to some of the problems that I encounter. So many of you pointed out that the mobs that fall down onto these flying machines would sort of bounce off, land on the platform, and then the flying machine itself would send it over to the ends here. And this is where we have a variety of means at our disposal for killing mobs and collecting the drops. This one over here is farmland, and yes, you can put a wither rose on top of it and collect it directly with a hopper. I really do think this is a great solution, but I kind of wanted to not put a lot of hoppers in the area, although it wouldn't really be a crazy amount. Another solution as well would be to add blocks on top of the flying machines that the mobs would simply land on and die, but then the flying machines would need to be smaller, you'd need more of them. And those are just some of the different ways that you can engineer solutions to these problems. And thanks to all the feedback in the previous episode, we now have a solution for another problem that we encountered over at the kelp farm. And if this solution is correct, then I'm a derp, and usually I am indeed a derp. Because as I understood it, we had water source blocks going all the way up to this part right here, but we did indeed create a platform to let the water flow out and then remove the platform. I'm not sure if I came in and corrected this after. I probably forgot to do that. And after we break the kelp, it essentially means there are water source blocks here. So now items shouldn't be getting caught in the downwards flowing water if that turns out to be true. So I'm going to go ahead and fix up this tank and we'll soon find out. Okay, this is a very slow and tedious way of doing it. I'm going to grab some water buckets. That's going to be faster than doing this one by one. Oh, and I guess a little bit of like a mini test. I've done these ones here and they are all going straight up. Or did I do that one there? Maybe I didn't do that one yet. And look at this. None of it's getting caught. It's all just whizzing up and going over the edge. Excellent. We have fixed it. We have fixed it together. Thank you for all your help in the comments. So, as you might have suspected, we now have lots and lots of fuel available here for the other hermits to come and use. Oh, I need this for our witch farm project, which you might be able to tell from the contents of my inventory I have actually started work on. But first of all, I would like to take a detour. What is going on here? There are pillars everywhere. Oh, another diamond pillar over there. We got, what is that? Pumpkins, glass, emerald blocks, and a very odd looking face right there. Talk about distractions. As we fly over Doc M's little area here, we'll be making our way to his perimeter base, which I want to introduce you to because it's kind of an amazing thing that's happening this season. It's obviously very special for Doc, but it's special for me too. You see, before I even uploaded my first ever Minecraft video, every day I used to wait for Doc M's world tour, where he had a Minecraft world where he built a perimeter, clearing out all of the spawning space in all directions and building all sorts of crazy contraptions. It was unlike anything anyone else had done in Minecraft before. And so now, over 10 years later, he's doing it again, but taking it to the next level, because of course the world is so much bigger than it used to be. You can dig down further. And I spoke to him a moment ago, and I found out that he's making a lot of progress with the World Eater. And there it is. Oh yeah, an episode or two ago I did actually introduce you to this project. This is now actually running. Oh my goodness me. Look at that. Oh, look at the geodes. Oh wow, this is like the most fascinating sight I've seen in Minecraft in some time. Wow. This is so interesting just to look at. Aha, and I think the machine is paused at the moment, otherwise these things would be moving across dropping TNT, which I'd have to be on the lookout for. Doc also said that he just started to reach at diamond level, and there he is right there.
I was just looking around. I'm scouring for diamonds.
Yeah, I was just mentioning you hit the diamond level.
Look here, just above, deep slate now.
Yeah. So how long has this thing been running for?
6-7 hours in total or so.
Wow. So you got like another 6 or 7 hours to go then, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take it a bit slower through the diamond layers here now.
So you're picking up like the stone diamond ore at the moment, which might be really worth holding on to, because that's
exactly.
way more difficult to find, and players aren't branch mining for that, so extra valuable.
I have 10 right now. Like that's all I found in the whole area so far.
Dang, just 10. You got a little axolotl farm down here.
Yeah.
Got to keep an eye out for the rare ones.
Yeah, I was looking if there was a blue one. Those probably will have to perish. I'm sorry, you're not rare.
What do you do? What do you do with all the resources? Are you collecting any of the stuff that just gets blown up and left around?
No, everything gets blown up instantly. No block entities stay on the ground.
Huh.
So lag is minimal. Oh, look here, there's even tropical fish. Man, it's nice here inside the perimeter. You got it all.
Yeah.
Clay, tropical fish. Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how it plays out,
Previews.
man. It's going to be fascinating.
And then the real work starts, making it all look good. Ugh.
Yes. Yep, you got to decorate.
All right.
Cool.
Later,
All right,
mate.
take care, Doc.
Look.
Yeah, this place is just fascinating. It's going to be very cool to see how this project plays out. Anyways, we're going to now head over to a swamp. Nope. No, we're not. I am going to join in this ridiculous game that has been taking place, and I'm going to join in with some bone blocks. Because no one has more bone blocks than me. I'm pretty sure I've proven that this episode. Right, how tall does the tallest of these go? Well, it actually goes to the very, very top of the world. You can't place blocks any higher than this. This is going to give me some RSI, repetitive strain injury with all this clicking. Then I realised you can click once, hold down, jump, and then you can just move around like this, so you don't have to keep clicking. I mean, there you go, placing blocks with Xisuma. Yeah, you needed that tutorial, didn't you? What has gotten into us? This is like the most pointless 5 minutes of my life. But the view from up here is certainly different. Oh, look at that. I think someone is possibly planning a path through this area. Anyways, there goes 15 stacks of bone blocks. And I don't know what is going to happen next with all of this madness, but let's get back to the plan. And the plan is, as you might have suspected it, to build ourselves a witch farm. But first of all, I'd like to show you an updated world map so you can see all the blocks and builds that have been placed in the starter area. We are going to be going all the way across the ocean. This right here is the mining mesa, and if we go a little further, this spot over here, this is where the witch farm is. And while I got the map open, I want to give you a sense of scale. So there's the starting area, and down here is Doc M's perimeter, right? Look at it. It's just utterly massive. But now it's time for us to make some progress with this witch farm. We're going to get it built in this episode. It's going to be really cool. And that over there is indeed one of those abandoned nether portals that generated like right next to this thing. And so you can see we've got some markers here. These are for the floors of the witch farm, which is built around the bounding box. And we're going to construct that using some glazed terracotta and some scaffolding. And there we go, look at that. We've got the spawning platforms in the correct place for using scaffolding so that the witches won't pathfind, and those terracotta blocks, well, they're all sort of placed at random rotations, and I'm not going to let that bother me. So the next step is, I don't actually know what the next step is. It is fixing the spawning platforms, because I actually got those wrong, so they've been pushed out one block in either direction. And so they were here where the witches can spawn, and now they're moved over. So on this space right here, you might be thinking, well, spiders could spawn in that space, right? Turns out they actually can't for some reason. So witches will be the only thing that spawn in here, and they get pushed off the edges, fall down into this collection system to the killing chamber. And to get them down there, we need to activate our flying machines. I've actually built the base components of those with the observers and pistons. We are, of course, missing some sticky blocks, but all of the redstone is in place. It can be controlled. We've got the redstone at the other end as well, so we just need to put in those blocks, and then these can start shuffling back and forth. This is where we run into a rather large issue. You see, I have only these slime balls, so not enough slime blocks for the flying machines, and also I don't have enough honey blocks either. I've only got 50 left. So a while back I activated our honey farm again. You can see that the bees are out in action. I filled it up with bottles, and hopefully we now have enough. That should be plenty. Gonna nip the bottles back in here, and you can see that we've got just under a stack. I hope that plus the other 50 is enough for our machines. So you might be thinking, but X, you need some slime blocks too, right? Well, you wouldn't be thinking that if you're one of the people that proposed the solution in the comments. Yeah, I've really enjoyed the back and forth on the redstone. You know, you can get stuck into a problem for ages and just not see a solution that is in front of you. So there's actually a way that we can use the same block on both sides. And that is to find the middle and simply add a regular block here so that the honey blocks don't touch each other. Now, I don't know which flying machine will actually move it across, but it doesn't really matter. Well, and I could say this worked, but apparently I got something the wrong way around over here. Okay, things are now not going to plan. This happened after I popped off the redstone, which would send the flying machine back. Oh, it's grabbed onto that block. Of course it has. And it's done the same thing over at this end. This is fine. There are actually additional observer blocks on the flying machine that I forgot about, so I need to add those. Well, there we go. There's always going to be some hiccups along the way, right? But because we did it on one floor, I guess it means we won't repeat those mistakes up above. Also, this thing actually powers the block and sends a signal up, causing those to fire. That doesn't break the machine when it's finished, but I thought it was interesting. And if you are wondering about those witches, well, I'm going to simulate being one. I'm just going to stand here for a second. And, well, I didn't technically get pushed off. Let's try that again. Aha! That is how we solved the problem there. And that problem is, how do we get the witches off the platform when we're using honey blocks? Well, the trick is just to come over an extra block further. Now, if you did build this thing with slime blocks, then it would be slightly more efficient, as it wouldn't need to travel one extra block in both directions. So this new design is effectively making it more efficient in some ways, but because I'm using honey blocks over here, it's less in others. In other words, if you want to recreate this design, use slime blocks, and then you can move the redstone on either side in by one. Right then, I think we need to speed things up a little bit here. The leaf blocks that you see just prevent things from spawning on top of some of the movable blocks around the outside, like the observer, and as I remember it, these blocks over here can actually introduce pack spawning inside of this area. So mobs can't spawn on the leaves, but pack spawning can start there, and it should increase the amount of witches inside of our farm. And so now we're going to enclose the entire thing so that no daylight can get inside of the farm. And this has now been achieved, and I got to admit, we're left with an ugly little box in the middle of nowhere. And inside of here we do have witches spawning, and then witches getting stuck and falling down into the water streams at the bottom. And you might be wondering how the witches die. You can actually hear what's going on here, look. A bunch of minecarts. So that causes entity cramming damage and kills the witches really quick. And this kitty has got to be the saddest little kitty in the world. Endlessly wandering down here, listening to the sounds of its witch's death. And so, as you might have suspected, I've got an AFK platform up in the sky. At some other time we'll hook this up to a portal or something. And as I've shown you before, we've got like a despawn sphere here and under the grounds, you'll see that the witch killing chamber is indeed inside of this space. Now, I've only been AFK for like an hour and a half, and look at that. Not bad. It does though feel like the rates are a little bit slow just sitting here and watching. You don't get lots of witches all at once. We just got a couple right then. So maybe there's some more optimizations that could be made with this farm. And not just optimizations, but maybe decorations as well. This lonely little box, you know, it could do with some love, it could do with some sprucing up. But anyways, I need to do more AFKing over here, but I got what I set out to achieve with this project. And that, my friends, is redstone. And not even a stack of blocks so far. But in my base, I'm going to need a lot of this stuff too. And you know, the glowstone's good for light sources. Maybe I can find some uses for these other materials. So I will be heading back over there to AFK soon, and in the meantime I'm gonna go grab some more bone blocks, head over to my base. I think next episode might be the one that I can introduce you to what I'm doing over there. But it really depends on how many of these bone blocks I can place, and I'm sorry to keep teasing you, it's just the way things are. I did manage to place a lot in this episode though, right? And we're coming to the end of it, so if you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. Thanks as always for the support, and I will see you soon for another episode of Hermitcraft. Bye bye!